So, I wanted to go back to checking out 3 games to do first look videos, and I saw this, Planetside 2 on the new releases. Yeah, that made me laugh because I think the game is at least half a decade old. It must be at least that. So I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I thought it might be worth looking into. I saw that review comments had a fair few mentions of cashing in, pay to win, etc. But that doesn't really sound like the game that I remember. Sure, there are issues with the game, but that wasn't one of them that I recalled. So first of all, I want to say the game is still crazy fun and addictive. You can just jump into the fight and actually help the team. This is me literally jumping into battle for the first time, and I got a few kills. I was spotting the enemy. I didn't feel like I was dying outright because of other people having better gear. This game is like none other when it comes to battle as well. It's a persistent world, and that can really make you feel like you're fighting for something. It's not just a map that is over at the end of a certain amount of time. Sometimes you'll be fighting at a point for literally hours, either to cap it or defend it. Sometimes you'll be desperately trying to hold off a Zerg, especially against a TR. And sometimes you will be the Zerg, especially if you're TR. Can you tell I don't like the Terran Republic? Sometimes you'll be in a battle of wits and skill in tiny numbers, trying to stop a sneaky cap or trying to do a sneaky cap. And at other times you'll be in a platoon of dozens of people fighting battles with what feels like hundreds of people. And I'm pretty sure it can be hundreds of people. This is an MMO as well. It doesn't look like it, but it is. You get certification points, which are both skill points and a currency. And you get one of those for every 250 experience points that you get. So 250 experience points is a certification point. You can use these to upgrade the abilities on your class or your vehicle, or you can actually use them to unlock weapons and attachments. You get certification points for doing anything that's helpful to the team. Killing, spotting, healing, repairing, mining, capturing or defending points, resupplying, you name it. Basically, anything you can do in the game will get you points, and you also get service ribbons after doing something for a while, which will give you a boost of like an extra certification point. For example, if you repair 15,000 points of damage on your team, then you get a ribbon which will give you 250 experience, and that's another bonus cert point. You also get bonus XP on those ribbons for doing your first 5 ribbons of the day, so that's kind of like a nice little daily login bonus, you know, an extra couple of certs going on there. That's one aspect of the game that I think is brilliant. You can be defending a Sunder where you're deployed, even though you're not directly in the fight, you're still going to get rewarded for doing something for the team. Spawn point XP, spotting XP, that was easy for me to say, repairing XP. It does actually reward people for supporting the rest of the team, even if you're not getting a massive amount of kills. Now, I will say a little addendum there, is that is if you're in a big fight. There's a little issue that I have, which I'm going to bring up later on. But with all that talk about certification points and progression, which I absolutely love, it's not all sunshine and roses, and there is an issue that I have with the system, and that is the buying of guns and turrets with real money. Now, every gun is supposed to be a side grade, whereby its stats are balanced with everything else, but it just specialises in one area. It might have more damage at the expense of recoil, it might have more range at the expense of damage. So by that reasoning, if someone is buying guns, they shouldn't be paying to win, but that's really not the case. An example of this is with my infiltrator. I like to go to sneaky and help my team by converting consoles, hunting out other infiltrators that are sniping, spotting for the team, etc, etc. And if you take that role, if you take the suit that allows you to stay cloaked infinitely, that stops you using a sniper rifle or a main gun. The thing is, the pistol you get as standard equipment is not suited to that task. The amount of bullets you have to use to drop someone in most situations is so high that you're rarely going to get kills with it as a primary weapon. I decided to get some coins because I've been playing the game a fair amount and I like to contribute, and with that cash I bought myself a powerful pistol with a scope on it. I instantly got a better KDR, survived better, could help my team more by hunting down other infiltrators because the gun was better for the situations that I was in. There's no way I could get the kills that I do with the standard pistol. I paid to win in that situation. I also take exception to the idea that every gun is a side grade. Using the pistol as an example again, the one that I bought can fire almost as fast. It does more damage, it has a decent scope, but it only has 4 bullets and it kicks like a mule. But in close, it's going to kill faster. At range, it's going to be more accurate and it's going to kill faster. I just have to adjust my tactics a little bit. Whereas, if I were facing someone with this pistol, anything I could do could be nullified. If I put a scope on the standard pistol and stay out of close range, the one that I bought has more damage and accuracy. I can just put a few more bullets down range with the standard pistol, but they'll probably miss. I go into close range and say me and the enemy both get a headshot. If I was using the standard pistol, I'd be dead for sure. They wouldn't necessarily be dead. There seems to be an obvious advantage in all situations I can think of or I've been in. Unless I spray and pray with the paid for gun, in which case I deserve to die. And do. Regularly. But against a standard pistol, this feels very much like an upgrade. But the biggest annoyance with all this is that an entire system in the game is basically behind a paywall or a massive time sink. That's the construction system. Now, I don't have a problem with being locked out of content because I haven't put the time in to get it. That's how games, and MMOs specifically, work. But these bases can be seriously powerful. You can have spawn points, bunkers, shields, vehicle spawns, turrets, you name it, you can actually build a base. Which is amazing, I don't deny that. Fucking amazing balls. But every single item is either a serious certification point sink, or you can pay to unlock it. Someone could literally pay for every single item, have no experience in the game, and just come in and build an entire base because they put down a hunk of cash. That's a serious gripe that I have there. Because it's not just a situational bonus. It's not a side grade. It is literally building a base with turrets and defences that can take on an army, and it can be paid for. So yeah, it does feel a bit pay to win. Even if not paying, you could get to that point eventually. You can pay to get there when other people don't. And it's not like with the construction system, you could potentially just be side grading. Oh, you're paying for, you know, a certain type of turret. No, you don't get the turrets unless you put 1,000 certification, I think it's 1,200 certifications into some of them, or you pay X amount of money. Also, I'm going to say this, the amount of money you have to put in to get the construction stuff on the bases is less than to get a gun. Strange that. So you'd pay like 799 coins to get yourself a gun that's 1,000 certifications. You pay something like 399 or 499 to get a turret that can blow up tanks. It seems a bit off. Anyway, I'm moving on from that rant. Now, when it comes to the map and getting into battles, it's the same system that I remember being implemented that manages to simultaneously be great and really frustrating at the same time, and it never got fixed. The way the map is set up is that you have nodes for each of the areas, they connect to one or more nodes, and you can theoretically travel from any one node to another. That makes for a really fun set of tactics. You have pinch points where you can defend lots of territory in one spot, places you can sneak behind enemy lines and cut off their ability to spawn at the front, all sorts of fun. But, and it's a big but, sorry, I've totally got Sir Mix-a-Lot Baby Got Back going through my head right now. I like big butts and I can't like that. Sorry. On top of this, there's a system that's really confusing that I don't understand how it's implemented, or it just seems to have no rhyme or reason to it. And that is the ability to travel only a limited distance from the node you're currently at, but also certain ones you can travel to because there happens to be a fight. They're like, you know, hot spots. The problem with this is that it feeds into Zerg mentality. And if you're someone who wants to help the team, you can end up in a situation where you're stuck defending a point against one or two sneaky buggers, but it won't flag up on the map as somewhere that needs attention, even if it should be a priority. For example, you might have a line of territories and there's a fight going on at the end of it, but there's a couple of sneaky buggers trying to cap something at the start of the line that would make that fight pointless. Surely the priority should be to hold that point. That could cut off an entire section, but no, the system seems to say no, because there's a big old fight going on at that end, that's where you need to go. And it kind of stops people looking at the map. They just want to get into a fight. It kind of stops that mentality of, okay, where should I fight? It's just, no, let's go fight. If you combine that with the limited ability to actually get information out to the rest of the team. Now, I don't know if the Region Sayer command channels just don't work or people zone them out, but I don't seem to get any response, especially on the Region Say commands. And I would have to yell and that would be able to be seen by the enemy. then that's an instance of where you're being punished for trying to help the team. If you're sitting there just holding off one or two people who, if they cap this, would nullify an entire line, if you're doing a good job, you're not actually going to be capping or defending the flag much. You're going to be holding them off. You're going to get a limited amount of kills because only might be one or two of them, limited repairs, etc., etc. So the amount of certification points you can get is really curtailed. But the people that aren't looking at the map and just zerging to the biggest fight will be getting far more experience than you are. That is somewhat frustrating. And I think even a couple of tweaks could change the system. If the priority is set, for example, the closest point to your warp gate that could cut off frontline territories, then people would go to them and they would still have to travel to the front line if they wanted to fight. It would just naturally incline people to look at the tactics and the best place to fight. Rather than going, guys, look, loads of enemies, don't look at the map, just spawn, shoot, kill shit. Whereas if you just literally had it to, okay, there's a fight up there, but look, here is a point, there's something going on here. If you just made people look at that point, you instantly don't stop them going for the zerg. They could spawn and just run up to the map or ride up to the map. But it would mean a lot less frustration for a lot of people that are team players. And it might encourage more people to look at the map and do tactics. But at the moment, that system is you are kind of punished for trying to help. And that is my one gripe when it comes to the whole system of rewarding you for helping the team. In that situation, because you're not in a fight, even though you are holding off the team losing a fight, you're not actually rewarded for it. And there needs to be something to change there for me not to be annoyed with that. But it is a minor gripe. Although at the time, I do get quite pissed off with it, if I'm honest. But with all that said, there is a really good spawning mechanic that I love in the game. And that is with the squad and platoon system, as well as using Sunderers. If you use a Sunderer, you can deploy it, and any faction member or squad/platoon members can spawn on it, or if they're in range, that is. So good placement of Sunderers can really stand out, especially if you keep it safe, outfit it with stealth shields, etc, etc. It can make a huge difference to the battle. If you're half decent at figuring out places to deploy Sunderers, then you're rewarded with tons of XP. You'll easily be able to keep spawning them if you happen to get yours destroyed because you've put it in a good spot, it's not dying, etc. Just smack the keyboard, do apologise. There's also spawn beacons that squad leaders can put down. They allow the squad or platoon members to orbital drop onto it, which is very, very cool in my opinion. I love that mechanic. It does mean, though, you're reliant on getting a squad or platoon where someone has a certification for that and they're the leader, or they're working together. But there does seem to be generally a pretty good attitude and cohesion from what I found. That was always the case in Planetside, and I think it's natural to want to work together because you get rewarded even more for spotting, healing, repairing, resupplying, helping to cap things that your squad is doing. That's really nicely done. It does naturally incline you to stay with your squad because you get naturally rewarded with it. Although I do wish that you could set up a squad without having to manually invite someone. Just set up a squad, name it, and people could join if they want to fight, rather than you being reliant on happening to find someone who is willing to do the same thing as you. Whereas if you put a squad in, for example, using the example of you're stopping them back capping your territory, if you made a squad saying stopping them back capping the territory, someone might look at the squads and go, oh, what's going on there? Look at the map. I feel like that is better. Whereas if I'm in a situation there on my own holding off a bit of territory, I can't actually invite someone unless I know someone or I get a response from someone, etc. It's a little bit of a circle of a clustercluck. So that probably sounds like I have a lot of issues with the game, and I'm not trying to be a downer on it. I just want to give you an objective view on the game because, the whole idea is I want to look at this, what it's like now. Is it worth you guys looking at it? And I want to have it up front saying, okay, look, these are the things that I seriously have problems with, even though I love this game, and I wouldn't actually be showing it here unless I thought it was worth your time. But I wanted to bring them up. But I've got to say, I found this game as instantly addictive as any first-person shooter I've ever played. Even possibly as much as the original Planetside, which I played for years. There's always something you can do. And even though I might have this fuck this shit moment and walk away because I'm getting angry that it's going bad, I just can't find a decent fight, I can't feel like, I feel like I'm just cannon fodder. If I walk away and take a break, I don't come back to it and go, I don't want to fucking play that game again. No, I'm done with that game. Actually, it's like, you know what? Yeah, probably my fault. I actually find myself going back into the game. It also really appeals to the MMO side of me. And actually, I feel like you can see your progress much better in this game than any other sort of MMO game. Like if you play an MMORPG, you can feel like you're grinding the crap out of stuff just to get one level and then get your skills. Whereas in this, you can actively see your progress. And not only that, is you're not limited to a single class for a single character. So you can be playing a healer while earning points for another class. And not only that as well, is you can decide to specialise as much or as little as you want to. You know, you could, for example, just like completely avoid, say for example, specialise in engineering, but you still have that option when it's called for to go into it. And if you enjoy it, you can put more points into it, and it's not actually going to be a detriment. So I think that's a really good element of this. Is one that is possibly the most addictive side of it, is the fact that you basically are doing all of the roles you possibly could under one account or one character that you would do in an MMO. So I think that's, you know, that's really cool, and you're not necessarily losing any progress. If you decide to switch track, you can always come back to it. You don't have to start a new character and work up a new character. That character's always there. And while you're working on something else or trying out something else, you could actually be doing things that will help that other character. So, yeah, I think that's a nice twist on the MMO side of things as well. For a game as well that you can play completely for free, I think it's definitely worth checking out. It is a massive time sink, but I've also had no problems finding something useful and rewarding to do at any point, even at this early stage that I am at coming back to it, and I know what it's like at later stages. As with all games like this though, it does take a fair while to get your eye in for how weapons shoot and what's effective, but I don't feel like I've ever hit a wall where I literally could do nothing to fight back. Sure, there's people with more experience, they've got better guns for the situation that I'm in. Sometimes I do die over and over again, either my own or my team's zerging and stupidity. You know, that's part of games. But that has been equally balanced out by me having moments of pure badassery where I take out multiple people repeatedly, and I know they must be getting as pissed as I get, which is really satisfying. Especially when you see someone like that you've taken them out a couple of times and you know they're gunning for you. It's actually quite funny to me, because I know what I'm like. Is I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, especially if they keep killing you. I've seen a fair few people complaining about the server quality and performance and about hacking. Honestly, I haven't had any issues with the server at all, and my connection is sketchy at the best of times. Like, I have a quite temperamental connection. Nothing has majorly affected my gameplay, to be honest, when it comes to the server side of things. I have encountered one or two questionable players who somehow managed to not even have their shield gone down with a full shotgun clip to the face, but that is a rare occurrence. I'm not experienced enough in the game to say for sure there's something dodgy going on there, but it happens so rarely it hasn't been annoyance. In fact, I think this game is better to try now if you've never tried it before, because anyone who's bought a PC in the last, I don't know, 5 years or so should easily have the specs to run it smoothly and on good settings, and really it's going to come down to connection then and experience. So overall, there's still some things that are massive frustration with this game, especially as there are things that I have seen brought up in the beta that I personally also put my name to and say, you know what, this is a problem in the beta, but they're definitely balanced out by an overall feel of the game. I'm not impressed by the current mechanics when it comes to the money, but in the same sentence I'll say that I can see it taking some of the grind out for people just starting a game, and once again it is a massive time sink to get everything you need in this game. I'm not sure it's the right way to go. I do think it can be a little bit pay to win, but it's not all negative and could be a benefit to someone who doesn't have hours and hours to spend in the game, which at the end of the day may actually be a benefit to the community. And my views on the pay to win aspect of it may just be because I don't have enough experience of the guns in general. I mean, especially, I don't think I've actually bought many of the guns over my time of playing the game. I've often stuck with going for vehicle upgrades. So, because that is also a massive element, I used to kind of specialise in vehicles. Anyway, guys, I hope this gave you a good overview of the game, and it was useful in helping you make up your mind on whether or not you want to test it out. Or if you've never even been aware of the game, I hope it brought it to your attention. It's worth having a look at it. I really do think it is worth having a look at it. I'm not sure it's going to be to everyone's liking, but hopefully this gave you an idea of what the game's like, and some of the failings, and some of the good points, and it helped you make up your mind. Have fun, I'll catch you all soon, and remember, new conglomerate or else. Or else. Bye! So I'm sure we all know that YouTube has kind of screwed over us small creators at the moment. If you feel inclined to pressing that subscribe button, I will love your face so hard. So hard. Wait, that sounds wrong. Or does it sound right?